Hello everyone and welcome to MozFest AMA with Pranshu. Well, I am not Pranshu. I am Harshal. I am a host for the stream. I will ask questions on your behalf, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask us in the chat and I'll definitely make sure that we get your answer from Pranshu. Let's get our guest Pranchu on the stream and listen from him about MozFest. I'm not gonna spoil anything right now. Before inviting him on the stream, let me give you a brief introduction about Pranchu. So Pranchu has been a facilitator at MozFest for 2 years, and he has given some amazing talks over there. And this year he will be a wrangler. Like you might be wondering what is wrangler or what is a facilitator. Well, don't worry. We are all on the same boat and we will get all these answers from Pranchu. So let's welcome Pranchu on the stream. Hey Pranchu, how are
Hi,
you?
hi, we're on air, and I'm not upside down. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Hello everyone who's listening, who's kind enough to come here and has any questions. Uh, uh, I don't know if I start with an introduction or not, but I think what Harshal said sums it up pretty nicely. So yeah, I really hope that I could be of any help for you as your guide to the Mozilla Festival. There are a lot of volunteers, wranglers, staff members at Mozilla who are working to get Mozilla Festival to you. And yeah, let's get to it.
Awesome. So what we are talking about Mozilla Fest or MozFest for short. So what is exactly MozFest?
So, uh, Mozilla Festival is like I said, it's a festival, right? Now, when we talk about such festivals, or these are mainly known as conferences. Now, the thing with conferences are they're mostly about technology and how how you can achieve A, B, C, D. It's all about that. But Mozilla Festival is not that. Mozilla Festival, takes it a step ahead of it. Well, honestly, it's just my opinion because, sorry, uh, yeah, because it's a hybrid conference. That's why it's a festival, right? It's a part art, tech, and society, you know, and has a lot of maker culture, really, apart from the conference part of it. So there are a lot of spaces where you can go ahead and talk about, say, decentralization, openness, or I am a wrangler for neurodiversity. Now that's something that you do not get to hear a lot about when you're going to a conference for GraphQL or React. Right. So it just takes a step ahead of the curve and talks about real issues involving uh, with tech and how it affects all our life, and more so how you can create with tech as well, because people create some lovely art with technology.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is Mozilla Festival.
Amazing. So, like you said, Mozilla has been, focusing on improving the whole tech ecosystem, right? So, what kind of theme you have been, seeing at Mozilla Fest?
So, there are different themes that have evolved throughout the years, because Mozilla as a company, as a corporation or as a foundation itself, focuses on different issues. And as we moved from the internet era, from the .com era, to now where we have AI all around us, these issues continuously change. These issues continuously evolve as the technology around us does, right? We do not have the same problems we did back in 2010, right? We did not talk about how Facebook would turn, Facebook would go on to play a major part in a country's election, right?
Right.
And we could not even have imagined that. And now here we are, we're talking about it. We're constantly on one of these social platforms where we have our uh, tailored tailored streams of information. And now internet has become so much more than what it used to be. And that is how Mozilla Festival has evolved along with it, because like I said, it's It's everything tech and how it affects our lives. So it has evolved throughout the years, and here we are today, talking about MozFest 2021. And MozFest 2021 will be around trustworthy AI, around how we can create a trustworthy atmosphere around artificial intelligence around us. Uh, because while these AI systems are convenient, but how does it really affect us, and how will it affect us in the future?
Amazing. That sounds really interesting. So this kind of reminds me that Mozilla has a mission to have a safer and better internet for everyone. And this
Right.
is what I feel is they are taking a step forward to bring it to a next step, right? Help people get more aware about it and work towards a healthy internet. And
Right.
if you talk about AI is now becoming a part of internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the recommendation that we get on YouTube. So that's
Right.
also an AI that's running behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a really interesting step that Mozilla is taking forward.
Right.
So let's talk about how did you came to know about MozFest? Like for you, that might be your first time.
The first time I encountered MozFest was when I was, back in 2017, 2018, when I was a college student, and uh, I never really thought that I would be speaking at a conference, let alone a talk in my local community. Uh, and that's when I heard about something called Mozilla Festival through within the community. And people were talking about how they're going to submit CFPs and how they're going to do different things about it. And I was wondering if I'll be good enough ever to go there, or even think about submitting a proposal that this is my idea and this is what I want to do. But that's when I sort of started looking up to it. In 2017, I did not submit a proposal at all, but I looked around what was going on. And my mentor, Muhammad Shabaz Alam, as you know him, Shabaz Bhai, he had uh, he had been talking about it in the community, and he was helping others create a session.
Mhm.
And as a matter of fact, I believe that he got selected and he was supposed to go there, but his visa got rejected. So throughout the next few months, I talked about it with him, with a few other members, that what is it, what goes on. They told me that these are some good issues that we feel that we could represent. These are the problem set that are only in India, right?
Mhm.
And we want to put this on the map. So that's when it struck me that it's not about what information you possess, it's about what unique information you possess,
Right.
right? And Mozilla Festival really wants it to be unique. Mozilla Festival really wants it to be, like they want it to be from somewhere secluded portion of the world, and they want you to come and represent that part of the world. Because if it's an internet issue, right, they are interested and they want you to tell your story, right? And that's what it is. Like Mozilla festivals, uh, the first thing you read on the Mozilla Festival .org website is arrive with an idea, leave with the community, right? And that is what it is. You just have to arrive with an idea. And that's when I thought, okay, uh, let me just think about what can I do. And that's when I submitted a session alongside China Dhingra uh, around misinformation, disinformation, and fake news.
Mhm.
So the session was called Reality Vertigo, and that really uh, that really stuck in my gut, because of the misinformation campaigns moving around in India and US. And that's how I started my journey. And yeah, it's again, it's about everything that's around you, right?
Right.
And that's all you need.
Right. So, like as Pranj, like I am also getting a lot of questions in the chat right now, and I
Right.
see some of them are around CFP. So you
Mm-hmm.
said that you observed what is going on around, and you thought like this can be a proposal that you can submit. So like if someone is completely new to MozFest, right? How would you help them, or just to guide them? Like this can be an idea, and you can submit a CFP for this.
Right. So now, before even starting creating something, right, or submitting anything, I just want to say that you might have the perfect idea, right? You might have the perfect technology to go ahead and showcase at MozFest, but we are looking for stories, right? These sessions, uh, these are curated. Sorry, these spaces are curated with something in mind. That this is what we want the conversation to be, right? And if your session really has that match, right, you are more likely to uh, have your CFP selected. And if not, you can submit more, right? So you can submit as many proposals as you want to, and it should be really apt, and it should be around the space description that they have mentioned, because wranglers wranglers have a few meetings, and they take an ample amount of time to curate this particular idea of their space, and if you fit into that space, you're likely to get in, right?
Right.
Now, CFPs, right? So for CFP, see, like I said, arrive with an idea, right? Like it says, arrive with an idea. You really need to have a story, that you want to tell the world about, right? It could be around, say, deep fakes, or it could be around neurodiversity. Uh, I I remember my 2019 session was around neurodiversity, right? It was around ADHD, but I did not say that see, I want to give a session about ADHD and this is what I'm going to do. No, my session was titled I uh, I cannot clean my room, right?
Okay.
And that was the title. I mean, I cannot clean my room, and that really intrigued the wranglers out there. They were like, okay, this is something that that tells a story, and we really want it to be there. So it was all around how I wasted a lot of time on social media, how AI really gathered a lot of my time, because it kept me really focused into what I like, and I kept on clicking, and did not clean my room.
Right.
So yeah, that narrative really clicks with Mozilla Festival not being a conference, but
Mhm.
a festival for people to come and talk.
Right.
Because while technology will be there, while you will continue to build, while you will continue to use, it's about how you as a person observe what's going on around you, and
Right.
how you tell that story.
Right. That's interesting. And you have been talking about spaces a lot, right? So can you just uh, give a brief idea about what are spaces and what all the spaces we have at MozFest this year? And
For
yeah,
sure,
also,
there's a long list. I'll need to look at the monitor just a second.
yeah. And also, I see Siddharth is asking if you could explain more about youth zone space at MozFest 2021.
Which space? Sorry, come again.
Youth zone.
Youth space.
Yeah.
Okay. Or youth zone. Okay. So I'll start with the youth zone itself. Right. So yeah. So youth zone is more about children who build something through technology. So when you enter the youth zone, you only see students, right, who are building something, or if you are a person who want to teach kids something, right. So let's say you have built a tool, right, that is amazing to build, say, an AI app,
Right.
just like what Scratch does with basic coding. You have done something like that with AI, right? So you can leverage that to submit a proposal and give a workshop based on that. So it's completely based around the upcoming generation and how do you engage them in, with technology, or how do you help them accommodate technology in their lives.
Mhm.
So it could even be say a privacy and security session,
Right.
right, where you help the youth understand how to use technology, how to leverage technology in the right way. So yeah, youth zone is all about the upcoming generation, really. Yeah. Right. Okay. So spaces. Right. Um, where do I start? Should I start with neurodiversity?
Yeah, let's start with that. That's for which you are a wrangler, right?
Right. Yes. Okay. So with neurodiversity, you know, I believe the description itself says it the best way. Right. There's a line here which really resonates with them, with me. Right. It says, through a neurodiverse lens, we will blend fresh perspectives of transformative topics,
Hmm.
experiments, opportunities, and artistic expression to test the future of an equitable, inclusive internet. Right. Let me break it down for you. So, when we talk about neurodiversity, we really mean that how different our brains really are. Right. We've often talked about how diversity inclusion plays a huge role in our daily lives, but it's also about how neurologically diverse we as people are. So there are people uh, who have ADHD, who have autism, and how they move around with technology and how technology affects them. So this is what we're uh, trying to create an impact within neurodiversity space, because for a long time internet has sort of uh, ignored the neurodivergent,
Right.
right? And we really need to make it an inclusive space for everyone around.
Right.
So yeah, for neurodiversity, we are looking for great speakers who have ideas in mind, say who want to make the internet more accessible, right? For accessible for neurodivergent people or people who have uh,
Mhm.
art around neurodiversity. We really invite them to come and speak with a broader audience who are interested in neurodiversity.
Interesting. That really is interesting because a lot of like I also advocate for accessibility a lot, and I have seen like we don't do enough, to make it inclusive. Change that we now have the power to help everyone around us, but we still lack on this leveraging this technology to help people. So I think this is a really interesting space, and I'm looking forward to what kind of sessions we have.
Right. Do we have some questions around neurodiversity?
Okay, I don't see we have any questions around neurodiversity, but let's talk. Let's come back to CFP once again. Like since you are a wrangler for neurodiversity,
Right.
like first of all, can you explain what a wrangler is?
Okay, Wrangler. Okay. So a Wrangler is a person who has been a part of the say open source and Mozilla Festival community, right? Who actually know what the community looks and feels like, right? So so I was nominated to become a wrangler by a previous wrangler, right? So based on how I speak, right, what my ideas are, right, how I help these space wranglers, as a facilitator, how I help these space wranglers uh, create a community around them. That's how new wranglers come ahead, in the next festival, right? And these wranglers basically build these spaces. So wranglers are basically managers of different spaces, in a much easier way. But these wranglers don't just build these spaces; they design them. They see, where these communities will reside, and it's not just about building a space, what their scope will be. It's also about when you arrive at the festival, when the audience arrive at the festival, right? How does the facilitator and the audience connect, and what does the facilitator do after the event as well, right? After the
Mm-hmm.
Mozilla Festival has ended, right? We tend to go on and make a community of people, of similar people around them, right? And we really want that to be a conversation piece, because Mozilla Festival is all about, arriving with an idea and leaving with the community, right? We really want to stay close to that ideology, right? And that's what we are really working towards. And how can we make that happen? So this is actually the first MozFest that we're doing online. So it's a hybrid one, where some parts of it are in Amsterdam itself, right? A few offline things for people in Amsterdam, right? And most of it is online, where you guys will be able to,
Mm-hmm.
people will be able to speak and attend sessions and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, since we are talking about it, MozFest is going online this year. We have some questions from Harsh about this. So, he's asking, like, how are wranglers planning to virtualize MozFest?
So how are Wranglers planning to virtualize MozFest? So I would like to start that it was the most difficult part to do, because it's so difficult to emulate what we do at Mozilla Festival, because Mozilla Festival really feels like a festival. It's not a conference. You have people running around. You have people making things. So I personally have made a jellyfish from scrap, and
Uh,
that's just
I
what we
think
do.
we lost Pranshu. Uh, yeah, can you repeat? I think we lost you for a while there.
I'm audible.
You are audible, yeah.
Just a second. I'll rejoin just a second.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so we kind of have a glitch over here, but it's okay. In the meantime, I see a lot of you have been asking a lot of interesting questions around MozFest and CF page as well. So the first thing that let me just reiterate what Pranchu said earlier. So if you are planning to submit a CFP, like make sure you have an interesting idea. Right, the idea can be a day-to-day activity, like a day-to-day observation that you do. It can be like anything, like as Pranchu shared his example, one of the talks that he gave was around was titled "I cannot clean my room." Now that's an interesting title, right? Because that kind of intrigues you, like what kind of stuff would be in this kind of talk, right? And this is what people look into CFP. So if you are submitting a CFP, make sure that you have a very catchy title, and that is something that would help you get a step closer. And I am once again just going through your questions. What? Okay. There is another question on CFP. Okay, I think we have Prancho back. Let's add him to the screen.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. So we were talking about how Wranglers are planning to, virtualize MozFest.
Right. Right. So I would say that that is the most difficult part of planning a hybrid or a virtual MozFest, because it's so difficult to emulate what we actually do at the Mozilla Festival, because we have a lot of parties going around. We have activities where I have personally created a jellyfish, uh, you know as, as as something that I wanted to do, right? And it was from scrap. And there was a workshop that I attended where we had a lot of pictures around technology, right? Around old technology, right? Like floppy disks, or um, I don't know, those there were
Mhm.
portable floppy things. Anyway, it was just old technology, and it was all around guessing what those are, right? And that's just how Mozilla Festival is. It's a festival in each and every uh, uh, in each and every aspect of it. So you obviously get to learn a lot uh, because Mozilla Festival is not just filled with people who are working in technology, but those people themselves, are sort of activists for the open web, and those people themselves create art through technology, and those people are the real ones uh, you know uh, who come at Mozilla Festival and create an experience. You know, uh, so I met Tim Berners Lee at the 2018 MozFest, and uh, those who don't know, uh, he's the founder of the internet. And yeah, even he talked about how Mozilla Festival has been, at the pinnacle of open web activists, right? At the pinnacle of open web activism. And that's what Mozilla Festival is. It's a gathering of people who are like-minded, who want to debate, who want to do so many things. And in order to virtualize that is the really difficult thing.
Right.
And we looked at several platforms. We formulated different ideas, and we are still working to uh, virtualize it in a proper way, because keeping it in one platform which is closed does not really make it I don't know, open in a
Mhm.
way, which is something that we want to do. And yeah, we were still looking at that. It's November, but the Mozilla Festival is in March, so we have a bit of time, and that's what we're looking forward to do. We're looking forward to designing each spaces in a different way, so that they have their identity, and we can take it forward from there. I know it's not
Awesome.
a conclusive answer. I'm really sorry. I know it's not a conclusive answer, but it is a work in progress. So I'll have to wait for it.
Well, we have a follow-up question on that as well. So how will the attendees attend, and how would facilitators interact with them?
Right. So it's going to be live. It's definitely going to be live. If not, we might take a recorded backup session just in case. But we would really want the facilitators to be there and have a conversation with people. And yeah, we will look forward to see how we can support them, because uh, this is really an exceptional case that we have here, uh, with the pandemic and all, and how a lot of people cannot meet, because Mozilla Festival is the festival where we have people from all over the world, whether it's from uh, the easternmost city, or the westernmost, northernmost, or the southernmost. It really
Right.
covers all bases. And again, we don't have a platform yet. We haven't decided on a platform yet. If you check out the website, you know there's nothing inclusive, but we are looking at options. We're looking at how we can make that happen.
Awesome. I hope how's that answers your question. And yeah, we have another interesting question from Coder on Twitch, and they are asking how can we contribute to Mozilla Festival.
So you can actually go to mozillafestival.org, and in the header itself, you'll find the Get Involved button, right? You can obviously submit a call for proposals, right? By submitting a session, you are making Mozilla Festival a better conference altogether by bringing your ideas, and we really want that to happen. Apart from that, we have the Building Trustworthy AI working group, where we know we have a group structure to support the technical community, right? And we are working collaboratively to make Trustworthy AI, sorry, a reality. And yeah, if you are a person who builds AI application, right, go to the mozillafestival.org, right, go to Get Involved, and you'll find the Trustworthy AI working group. Come on Slack. We have a few ideas. We host calls, and like Mozilla Festival, Chad holds these calls, I think, Chad and Abby. and they will be able to help you transition into and see how we can create trustworthy AI guidelines. How can we help diverse stakeholders? How can we develop new technologies? And yeah, it's about making AI more trustworthy, and we are working towards that. Apart from that, you can volunteer. I believe the uh, volunteer form isn't opening early 2021. Yeah. So, yeah, you can volunteer at the Mozilla Festival this time. And yeah, that's how you can get involved. You can contribute to the Mozilla Festival.
Amazing. So I would just suggest, like, hop onto the website, that's mozillafestival.org, and you will get a lot of options to be. One of them is to, give a session, submit your proposal, and, talk about your ideas. The forms for volunteering also will be starting in early 2021. So keep an eye
Yeah.
out for that as well.
I would also suggest everyone to become a MozFest insider, because that way you will get everything around these spaces, these get involved spaces as well, right in your mailbox. So you can get each and every information around MozFest 2021 through that. You can find it on the mozillafestival.org website. It will be on the right side. That's it.
Amazing. So I think we have got a lot of people, who are interested in submitting a CFP,
Right.
but they are not sure like what kind of proposal should look like or what would be the prerequisites. So one of the questions over here I see from Fennel is what a good proposal looks like. What are the points to take care?
Right. So, like I've been, talking about Mozilla Festival uh, as as a part of the open web activism movement, right? You can go that way. You can talk about activism, or you can talk about policies and whatnot, or you can talk about technology, right? You can talk about art. But at the center of all these sessions, I believe that the major talking point is interactivity. How can you create an interactivity with you as a facilitator and the audience in front of you, right? The more interaction there is, right, the better. The second point I would say is, how do you plan to follow it up, right,
Hmm.
after the session? If you have that, if you have a plan, that you would like to onboard all the audiences onto, say, a Discord channel or a Slack channel, where you would continue talking to them and build something with them around your idea. I believe that is everything that Mozilla Festival stands for, right? Apart from that, uh, your your proposal, when it has a story, right? It has a depth to it, right? We can learn, say, React, we can learn GraphQL, we can learn Node.js on the internet or on a different conference, right? But again, this is Mozilla Festival, and you know uh, in terms of ideas, I would say, in terms of ideas, you should stick to these space descriptions, because these space descriptions are being curated by these people who know what these spaces should look like, right? If you have any questions around these spaces, you can jump on the Mozilla Festival Slack, right? We have a few AMA sessions, right, with Chad Sansing, who has been helping facilitators, you know, uh, not just help with their CFPs, but also with their talks in terms of how to deliver, what would be the right step, right? He works with the Mozilla Foundation, and he has been doing a super job at the Mozilla Festival in order to organize everything. So he hosts these AMA calls. So mine is a very micro AMA call, but you should jump on the Slack channel and attend that AMA call, so that he'll be able to help you out better in terms of ideas and whatnot. Here we might not have enough time to cover all of that. Let's see if we can host one. But yeah, I would suggest that he has an AMA coming really soon. So jump on the MozFest Slack channel. You'll find it on the website itself. And yeah. Yes.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think this also answers Siddharth's question, like what are the things selectors see or keep an eye in a CFP? Like, do you want to extend on this?
Sure. Yeah. So, so we wranglers themselves select, these sessions for their spaces, and if there is, uh, see, we treat each and every talk, each and every proposal as a different one, because we understand that these are unique sessions that come from different spaces. So obviously, we really want to understand what you are trying to convey. But if you have it laid out really well, really clearly, right, it's definitely better. It's definitely amazing for all of us to, uh, to it just generally becomes easier for us to see what you're planning, and that kind of ideology really helps uh, us go for the session, right? So if
Right.
you lay it out clearly, that's better. Apart from that, like I said, if you have a proper plan post MozFest as well, that's really good. Interactivity is important for us, uh, and again, uniqueness, because how your idea is unique, in different terms, really helps us uh,
Mm.
really go for it. Yeah.
Right.
Um, Apart from that, I would say you, right? We really want to know you, who you are, right? Your session should have a piece of you, and if it has that, we would really love to have you.
Awesome. That's a really great answer. I think this is gonna definitely help a lot of people. And I see like Harsh has posted a question which is kind of similar to what I was gonna ask. So Harsh says that he is planning to heavily like planning on heavily depends on interactive group. So I don't know if I will be able to do. Okay. I think he's talking about, if he is planning to submit a session which heavily depends on interactivity. But now since MozFest is going online, right? How he's not sure like how this is gonna be for him.
Right. So I believe that if you have a specific requirement in terms of how exactly do you want it to be interactive? If you lay
Mhm.
it down, uh, that becomes easier for us to help you facilitate a session in that
Right.
space. So if you say need a Zoom call, right? If you need a specific Zoom call for that, we may be able to arrange that for you, right? And along with that, say if you're running a mentimeter.com or a Kahoot
Mhm.
quiz, right? In terms of interactivity, we'll be able to set that up for you as well. So if you really lay it down for us, it will be easier for us to plan along with it. It's not that we want to have a conflict between different platforms. That's why we're keeping it open, right? We really want the best solution for all of the people
Mhm.
involved. Really, yeah.
Awesome. So I guess Harsh, you just need to plan out your session. You need to specify like what you want to do and how you want to make it interactive. And if you need any tools or platforms for that, probably mention that as well. So this is gonna help the wranglers understand your needs, and and they will be able to help you with that.
Correct. Definitely.
Awesome. Cool. So we were talking about spaces, and we talked about neurodiversity, and we talked about youth as well. What are the other spaces in MozFest?
Okay. So uh, there are a lot of spaces, with MozFest at 2021. So the first one, let's cover AI IRL,
Mhm.
right? Right. It's about artificial intelligence in real life. So uh, this space is completely around the AI research community, and how AI really impacts social life,
Right.
right? Like in real life, really, like you know, and we we as people, we use artificial intelligence every day in some form or the other. But if you as a technologist can come ahead and say give a case study
Mm.
and share your insights around separate platforms or separate case studies around how it affects people around you, right? That would be great. So AI IRL is all around the human centered internet, right? And how if even if you have a solution, right, come ahead and say that I believe that this is the solution, this is what I'm working on, right? This is the work that has been done, how we have been thinking about certain things and how we should be taking it, right? Put out a proposal, like put out a proposal in the session itself, even that's fine, and take it forward with the community where as a facilitator you might meet people who want to contribute to your project or
Mm.
your idea or who might want to build it with you. So yeah, that's AI IRL. Yeah. Um. Next up we have AI wellness, right? So, this space is all about you know all about how AI is you know not right for you or right for you. I don't know the right word, but yeah, it's about how AI should be able to promote joy or
Mm.
healing and well-being for everyone. So how can AI really help us, right? In terms of bettering our lives. So with IRL we were covering the social impact, and here we are covering the well-being for all. So
Right.
if you say even have an idea, or if you want to launch an open source project, or um, let's say uh, let's say if you have a case study, if you're really observant around your use of AI and
Mm.
how has it helped you, in your daily life, I think AI wellness is the right space for you to submit a project, submit a proposal. Right. Next up, we have creative AI. Right. Now, for creative AI, I really think Harshil, you should talk about the what was it? Style transfer
Right.
proposal that we submitted previously. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, last year we submitted a proposal that was based around style transfer, style transfer is basically a part of machine learning. What it does is it imposes a style of one image onto another image, and we thought of taking it to a different level. So we came across this project where the project owner was using Arduino, and he built it. And it was actually he was doing style transfer live. So what was happening is, if you are in front of the screen, certain image would be superimposed on your image, and it would give you a stylized image. Now that was something really amusing, because style transfer in itself takes a lot of computing power if you want to, run it on Arduino, or if you generally want to run it on your laptop. But doing it live using a camera, that was something really interesting, and that caught our eye. So we thought of doing something really fun with that. I don't want to reveal the kind of idea that we had, but yeah, we did something
Hmm.
around that, and that was kind of really fun. Unfortunately, we didn't got to present it, but yeah, hopefully we would be presenting it someday.
Right. So that's the thing with creative AI, that how can you create art through AI, or how can you even portray AI in a different manner. So even I have some ideas that through AR or VR you can
Hmm.
uh, help students learn artificial intelligence and things like that. So that's the thing with creative AI space, that there is no bar in terms of what you can create through AI, or uh, approaching AI. So yeah, that's just creative AI. That's the creative AI space. So if you have something, or if you have an idea around something, you still have 4 months to build it. Just by the way, so you can start today and actually take help from wranglers themselves and ask them, that this is the idea that I have. This is what I've done. I might need some more time to build it. I might not have it now. Then that's where you can start building something as well. Or if you have something around AI,
Hmm.
maybe say your artificial intelligence bot is building some art through special characters,
Right.
right? Or it is sketching through special characters. Why not that? I mean, there's no bar really. So yeah, that's creative AI for you. Next up, we have decentralization. Now, decentralization is something that has been a part of Mozilla Festival for I think 3 years now, 3 or 4 years now, and it's not related to AI like directly. Decentralization is again a different technology altogether. Uh, we did use peer-to-peer internet apart from AI as well, but this year we are inviting communities to share their decentralizing practices, right?
Hmm.
How are they decentralized, or how would they share power? Let's say Bitcoin, right? Now Bitcoin was built out of the need that people do not feel comfortable that there's a single bank which holds
Right.
power on money all around them. So that's how they distributed money uh, in different shapes and forms, electronically. And that's a great example of decentralization. And if say you have an application, or if you believe that there is an application today that should be decentralized,
Hmm.
how it should work, there are components, and how can you make it happen. You can start with that if you are already working with decentralization, and if you have ideas there, right? Go on and do that. uh, One great example is that uh, I recently found out that there's an open food supply chain network all around the world,
Okay.
right? It is open source, right? And they basically share resources in a very open and transparent manner, which we do not get to see, right?
Hmm.
It is all like for us as human beings of or citizens of a country, right? It all goes uh, behind closed doors by corporations or governments, right? Within trade policies and whatnot,
Right.
right? But that is a great example of how they've decentralized it and gave people the power to build their own supply chain openly and transparently, and that's how I believe that you should approach the power struggle that we have today, where companies try to monopolize separate entities, right? Uh, yeah. So if you are passionate about that, you should go ahead and go for a decentralization proposal. Right. Next up, we have global culture and heritage. Right. So global culture and heritage is uh, purely built out of this very eternal question that who are we, right?
Hmm.
Where do we come from, and where are we going?
Right.
Right. Our culture stays with us as we grow up, you know, wherever we go, right, wherever we move around throughout the world, our culture and heritage stays with us, right? And that's what this space is trying to do. That's what this space is trying to emulate through discussions, workshops, installations, right? Uh, Cultural parties and virtual embassy booths where you can come and represent your culture, your heritage, uh, and and collaborate to create a responsive framework,
Okay.
and embed your culture into the future of technology design. That how we design today's technology, we can design it around our culture. So one great example of this uh, is the Indian accent Siri,
Hmm.
right? While Siri might be able to understand my accent, right, as an Indian person, there is no data set available out there to emulate Siri's accent into an Indian person's accent,
Right.
right? So making technology more accessible for everyone based on their culture, right, is something we should be able to focus on now, because while these AI technologies are available for everyone all around the world, right, these are not culturally nitpicked, or there are no use cases for different cultures, because we have so many cultures within our country itself,
Right.
right, let alone the world. So we need to emulate that for every country all around the world, for different dialects or different cultures, heritage, and whatnot.
This is a really interesting space.
Right? It is. Uh, and you know what? If at all you are stuck, and if you feel that what you're thinking about, in terms of proposal,
Hmm.
is not right, or you have some doubts over it, you can also go to the website, and click on Meet the Wranglers for any one of these, and talk to them, text them on Twitter maybe, that here I have an idea, I need to understand if this would be right or not,
Right.
right? Just have a small chat and see what they think, right?
Right.
Yeah. Next up, openness. So openness, as the space suggests, it's a really open space, and they're literally they're literally calling everyone, whether you're a technologist, researcher, medic, legislator, investor, you know uh, basically you're a global citizen, so that
Hmm.
you can celebrate projects and communities that have collaboration, transparency, and inclusion.
Right.
So my 2018 session was Reality Vertigo, which was around misinformation, disinformation, and fake news,
Hmm.
right? And while I talked about that, that was that was a call for a healthier society around us, right? And how do you actually create a healthier society through the social media platforms that we have,
Right.
you know? And even if there's a chance to regulate them, how do we actually do that? So it was a conversation for peace. It's a conversation piece for everyone involved, and that's what we set out to do. And that's something that openness supports. It supports a dialogue for a better internet, better platform. Internet as a better platform for everybody, really. Right. Next up, we have shifting power in tech. Right. So, shifting power in tech, as it you know helps you understand, it's all around monopolies, and you know
Hmm.
well, how basically, how do I put it? There are different powers in technology as well, right? How we see technology is not the same as how people see technology,
Right.
right? So it's about not letting different powers take control inside technologies, right? While there is a certain level of adoption by users, right? We need to have a fair power struggle for everyone.
Hmm.
One great example of this is net neutrality, and how it serves a purpose towards towards these uh, powerful companies around
Right.
us, right? And how these literally serve them in order to make their lives easier, in order to make them uh, grow constantly, and their competitions suffer, right? So how to create a level field, uh, how to make technology a better place for an upcoming entrepreneur as well. Uh, so yeah, there's a lot of ideas that even I can think of right now. I think I will submit a session here, in order to create an equitable future of technology. And yeah, it's all about the future, and how and where do we go from here, from this point on. Right. So we just have two spaces left. The first one is sustainable. sustainability, right? It's all about
Mhm.
sustainable future and smart cities, tech policy, carbon footprint, and how can we reduce our carbon footprint in terms of technology, and these debates, and these ideas that you put on forward today, uh, how can we, make them a standard and make sustainability a point through technology, right?
Right.
Because as we use internet, as we use so much data all around us, right, uh, it takes a lot of electricity, right? And
Mhm.
that electricity, in fact, increases our carbon footprint all around the world. So while we think that internet does not hurt anyone, uh, it actually does. And how to create a sustainable future through technology is something that the space is all about. Right. Final one, tech for social activism. Right. Now, I've been saying it since the start that this Mozilla Festival has been a space for open web activism since a long, long time, and this really pertains to, even now. There have been over
Mhm.
10 editions of MozFest. I think there have been 10 editions of MozFest up until now, and activism has been at the center of it. That we are these people who believe in open web and how the web should function, even if there is user adoption, even if people want to participate on the internet in different ways possible, right? Web or internet, as we say, is an open space for everyone, and it should be a level playing field for everyone involved. And activism has played a huge part in order to keep it open, right? And it will play a huge part uh, in order to sustain that model in the following future. And it's not just about keeping it open, it's also around moderation, as we say that there are different platforms who would moderate on the web. Maybe if governments should get involved in how we use the internet, right? And uh, how privacy laws in our countries, right? So every country has a different privacy law, and how we can hold them accountable. How can we, help make it an even and a better experience for everyone? And that's all through social activism, really. So yeah, phew, a lot of spaces, man, a lot of spaces.
These phases are aligned with what Mozilla is been doing to build a safer technology for us. Because like I am not sure how many of you have seen the recent documentary on Netflix. What was the name again? I forgot it. The Social Dilemma, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like so that is what has been the focus of Mozilla, and it is what Mozilla has been doing. And this is an amazing way to be a part of this mission to have a safer not just internet but a safer place, a safer technology, a technology that helps each and every one of us. It does not is biased, is not putting it in their words, it's not harming us as humans, and it is keeping the humanity alive within us. So I think this is really grateful, this is really amazing, and thank you, Pranshi, for joining us in. We had a great time. We learned a lot about how do you write CFP, how we can get involved with MozFest. Before ending the stream, like if someone wants to reach out to you, what is the best place?
So, right. So the best place to reach out to me is on Twitter, at the rate Pranshu 15. Um, just text me. Twitter DMs are terrible, so I might take some time to reply to you. But yeah, I will get to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much once again, everyone, for joining in. I hope we answered your questions. Okay. So yeah, like this was the book that all the facilitators got last year at MozFest, if I'm not wrong. I also have a copy of this. Thank you to Devans for giving it to me. Uh, So yeah,
So this is what I used to prepare because I needed to learn how to MozFest.
amazing.
Right. So yeah, I mean, if you have an idea, if you have a question, and if I cannot think of something, I'll look into this book and answer you. Don't worry about it. I have the ultimate guide towards to MozFest.
MozFest. Amazing. Awesome. So thank you all for joining in. It was really wonderful, and we hope you got to have an insight of what is MozFest and how you can be a part of MozFest. Even if you don't want to directly get involved with MozFest, I would suggest you to at least talk about privacy and security and help us spread the word around it. This will help the future generation. This will help more and more people be aware of all the threats that they are currently living in. Uh, so yeah, once again, thank you all for joining in, and I am planning to do more of such live streams. So follow me on Twitch and subscribe me on YouTube, and hope to see you all soon. Thank you all for joining in. Have a good day.